Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry about the delay for today. Literally, this has been an absolute nightmare. I'm currently tethered to my phone to use the Wi-Fi, so I don't know what's going on, but I've got 2.51 megabytes per second of internet, so it's not even opening browsers for me. It's been an absolute nightmare. But anyway, they're sending someone out to come and get it fixed. So for the time being, I'm just going to have to struggle along with what I've got. Anyway, I wanted to start by jumping into the monthly candle because it's painting a bit of a different picture right now. I actually thought we was going to potentially bounce because it was getting a bit of a double bottom on the weekly. Remember I showed you that, I think it was the day before yesterday, I showed on the weekly was getting this rounding area here, the same as what, let me just put it on. We had this rounding bottom here and then another one here. However, on the monthly, all of the RSIs are super extended and the MACD is obviously now starting to print larger, deeper purple candles, so it looks, which is sell pressure coming in. And not only that, the candle on the monthly tells us a lot of things. So let me just make this a little bit more precise so it's actually touching the wicks. There we go. So you can see from Monday the 2nd of March, this month, the March candle, then obviously April didn't get to it. May, we tapped this region, that's why this trend line's been here, because we're going off this wick and this wick. June, it pushed through, it was slightly bullish, but we obviously came back down and closed below. Here, we have now printed another candle in July. Obviously it's not closed yet, this could potentially push up, but I don't see it happening. But we're currently underneath this trend line and the wick is right on that trend. So it shows us we're still potentially going lower. Unless there's a huge surge of bullish momentum and we close outside of here. So let me just draw it out for you. If a candle in August, if the candle goes like this, oh my God, 1 second. I've got the auto stretch on. If next month's candle starts to print like this, if we have a wick down here and we push all the way up, then obviously that's a complete reversal and the bottom is in for gold and we go on for the next leg higher. However, if we stay below this trend line here and keep pushing lower, well then we're going to continue looking for shorts on the weekly and daily basis. Our overall bias remains bearish. There's no real change of structure there, okay? So now I'm going to jump to the weekly and you'll see, again, RSIs are still really low. Let me just see if anything else is printing. Yeah, we haven't really printed a bottom yet on the weekly. Any bottom signals? Let me see if there's anything on here. No, like this said the top was in back in March, which is right, because obviously the top was in, obviously it was in here in January, but officially the indicators have started to print that we're going to go lower. So what that means for us is that our overall bias on a daily basis now, when we zoom in on the charts on a daily, we're going to continue to look for downwards momentum, okay? So what I'll do now is I'll remove these from the charts. I will enable our, it's not that rectangle, our macro trend that we're following. And I'm going to zoom in. I'm just going to hide this because it's going to just get in the way. Well, actually, no, I won't. I'll keep it on there to explain that we're still under it so you can actually clearly see that. Let me just make it a different color for now. Let's make it orange. Okay, so you can see that obviously we're still in this parallel channel there, but we're actually remaining underneath the trend line that I just showed you on the monthly candles, okay? We haven't broken above this yet on a daily time frame. So let me just go and hide that. And then I'll put on the macro, On the macro trend, the larger one of the two, so we've got this smaller one that we're tracking like more on a zoomed in focus on a 4-hour basis, is still intact. And the larger one is also, let me just put this actually moved, because it should be to that wick there to the top. So from, where's that moved? That wick there to there. No, again it's moved. I'll fix it in a bit. Anyway, we're still within this trend, okay? But now we're resting on the midpoint. However, if I take this larger one off and we go into the more zoomed in one, again, we're just bouncing around the midpoint of this too, yeah? So what I'm going to look for next is areas where we're going to tap and potentially reject. On the larger time frame, obviously we can still come up to 4,500 and 4,540, or but I'd say below 4,550 and below, we're still in a downtrend. Okay, so unless we break outside of this larger macro trend that we're following, my bias is still bearish. Okay, so we're still looking for shorts. So now zoomed in here on the 4 hour, everything's looking fine. We're still in this zone. I'm just going to turn on our areas of interest like that. I need to get some trades in today because obviously I haven't given you a trade yesterday and nothing today, but look, that's actually a good point we're in right now. So right now we're resting back on top of this area of interest that we drew, when was that? Monday the 26th. Okay, so on this Monday just gone. But why was it there? Okay, it was also previously on the 14th of July. So this actually extends all the way along, back to the beginning of July basically. So we're back in this zone right now. Let me just pull this up because I want to see if this means anything. No. Okay, let me just reverse that. Okay, so basically we're back on this and we're using this area of support now. So basically the area that we was looking at was 4030, so 4030, but now we're resting back on top of this. Now there's two things that could happen. Obviously we can either go up or down, right? That doesn't take a genius to work that out. However, the way that the MACD is looking right now on an hourly, if this sell pressure, I'm not actually going to enter any trades. I'm going to wait now until 3:30 my time, 2:30 UK time, for the New York session to open and start to see where the market moves. There's been a lot of buys here pushing the market back up, but if this weakens, as you can see the buy pressure is actually easing off, if we suddenly get a big load of sell pressure come in and sweep all of this liquidity here, I'm going to be looking for sells, back down to the 4,000 region, or at least to sweep this 4,010. Let me just see what's going on. We've got lower highs being printed here. So that's still bearish. We could potentially push up to the 4044 and then look for a continuation to the downside. Let me just look if there's any other setups. Yeah, I mean that looks... Really, we just need to wait and see what's going to happen. See there how on the MACD now, the RSIs are rolling over and you're starting to see some sell pressure come. But until we get a large surge of volume, we're not really going to know, because for me, we're in a bit of another range right now. We're just ranging in, I'd say here, this sort of zone. Really, we'll put it down to the bodies, but there, like, we're just stuck in another range. There's no real clear movement or no clear direction. What we need to see is a retest here, or potentially the top of this range of 4060. I don't think it could get there, but it depends. If New York opens and it's really bullish and there's loads of buy pressure, then we're going to change to short-term buys. However, it is falling, so this is very bearish, like you can see. Let me just pull this up here. If we take the trend line from the top of this wick here through to the next one, I mean, yeah, look, we're actually below it. So we go off the highest one, then the next one along here. This is broken out but closed back below this trend line. Again, we've attempted to get through it. It's squeezed through slightly. Again here, it's respected that trend. Let me just zoom in so we can see that a lot clearer. And I'm going to hide this. So we're in on the 30-minute time frame, and obviously hourly is still the same. Okay, it worked. I thought I was going to lose internet. We're still in a downtrend and we're trapped below this trend line. So we're below the trend line. So I'm just trying to think this through as I'm looking at it and trying to explain it to you. So we're below the trend line now, or price is below it. We're currently hitting this zone here of 4024, which was previously a support region. So there's two things that can happen. If we break above this, retest it and then go, then we're going to look for some buys potentially for short term. And then if not, if we can't get above the 430, 429 area and close, but it's not just a wick, like a pump out and then back below. We don't want to see this, because then if we start going, we're going to go for a buy here because it's outside. We need to watch it actually close below this trend line, okay? If we get a close or a retest, then we're going to go for longs. If not, we're going to go. I'm looking for shorts because this area here, there's a lot of liquidity trapped. You see between, like I said before, 4010 to 4000. So price could potentially come down here to get this liquidity before pushing up, or we could continue further because the overall bias on a weekly and monthly is bearish. What I'm going to do is go to the 4 hour and I'm going to turn on some indicators to see if it's painting any different pictures. I'm going to look for the reversal cloud on the Lux Algo now. So if that turns on, literally no internet is ridiculous. Okay, so that kind of makes sense. So even on here now, on the 4 hour, back at 454, there was a sell signal to come down to the targets of 3945. So see what I mean? Like price wants to push lower. However, it's not guaranteed. Also, there's a lot of liquidity here. I've just seen 3959, and just see how. Let me just draw it on so you can see the base of this wick here. I'm going to highlight it now with a horizontal ray. I'm going to put that there. Look how that ties in with this reversal cloud. So for me, on a 4 hour time frame, unless there's some trickery in the markets before which pushes us up slightly to get some stops, because other people may be looking for shorts as well, or they will be. We'll be looking for a short down to this downside. Now what I'm going to do quickly is show you something that I also use, CoinGlass. And I showed this to a member the other day on a one-to-one. We're going to look for liquidation heat map, and then you can use it. I use this for crypto mainly, but they also do gold on the perpetuals. Binance, XAUUSD, continue. Let me just log in real quick. Okay. Where are we? That moves. Why is that not going? It's annoying. Let me just refresh. Liquidation. Okay, liquidation heat map. And then we're going to go to XAU, USDT, Binance. So this shows where the liquidity is sitting. Now that's actually on the 24 hour. It's actually kind of 50-50. So we've got 1.87 million, 3.14 million, 4 million, and like you've got around 20 odd million, 30 million close, roughly, in liquidations to the upside, which means people are a bit short in the market. So if price wicks up to above 480 or 481, let me see, 490. So if we went and tested 4100 again, that would liquidate roughly 30 odd million, maybe more, 30 to 40 million. That's just on Binance, out of the market. Okay. To the downside, we've got 3.3 million here. So this is people going long now. So people that are looking for buys, they've been in long positions from these areas, will get liquidated if price comes down here. So it's basically their stop losses. So there's a 50-50 on the 24 hour time frame. Let me look on the 3 day. Again, see how there's more concentrated liquidity. So that to me says there's more interest to the downside. Let me just look on the weekly, because that is quite high on the top. Yeah, so on a weekly time frame, there's more liquidity because the brighter the yellow it is, so it goes from dark purple to yellow. There's more money here. I think that says, yeah, look. So if we get down to 4,013, so clearly the market will just push below that. 4,013, which ties up with my target of 4,010 and lower, there'll be $14.58 million liquidated in shorts just on Binance, okay? And then there's more down here, 8.6, 10 million, 3 point, that says there's a large chance now that we push to the downside, okay? Which is good. That's just another validation for me to be like, okay, cool, I'm looking at the market correctly, I'm looking in the right direction. I'm not looking for buys, I'm looking for shorts. That's also validated by the 4 hour here, because we're not getting through this trend line, so the price is falling. So you can see price action is moving to the downside. We're not where, if it was here, this would be to the upside. So I'd be looking for longs here, shorts here. Just because I know there's a few new members that have joined, I want to explain this as clearly as possible. Then I'm going to look now again on the weekly. Let me just hide all the drawings quickly. You'll see weekly is clearly falling to the downside, okay? So that's fine, we'll put that back on. And monthly, oh no, that's not monthly. Monthly. Again, very clear to see that price is falling downwards. Yes, this candle at the minute is green. However, we're within all of the parameters for me to still believe that we're falling to the downside. We haven't closed outside of the trend line. So I'm going to monitor this area now for the next, we've got 2 hours till New York opens. So I will be looking for potential short-term buys. Let me just close that. Like I said, that we could see a push to the upside. It really depends on how they open and what their plan is. Last night there was sales, what obviously pushed us back down to the 410 again. London session has been pushing up all day, and then, oh sorry, no, that was July, yeah, so sorry, I got it wrong. Asia session was pushing up, London session's pushing down. So maybe we do come on, we get a push to the upside today in the New York session, and then Asia sells back down again because of this liquidity that's here. So we just need to wait. I'm going to stand by now. I'm going to just do a little bit of a deeper dive myself, and I will give you all an update as soon as I see anything. As soon as I see anything on the charts that's worth mentioning, or a trade that I'm confident with. Look, see that now? Buy on the 15-minute. I'll drop it in the video, and we can take it from there, right guys? So I'll see you all soon.